Marcy and Brenda are here.
We are.
Yes.
We are. We're ready.
All right.
That's for Dawn. That's right, Brett. Is that okay? Is that all right? You can probably turn that down just a smidge. Not saying that I'm loud or anything, but just truth hurts. I'm plenty. There you go. Thank you.
Thank you, and good morning, Starshine, everybody. Is it too bright in here for... Actually, it's really dark. That's better. I just wanted to make you think I was a star, you know, like a Hollywood star. I am Shannon Preem. I am your welcome host this morning. I am standing in for Reverend Moore, who's at the coast. So I'm going to be Reverend Don's sidekick. He doesn't know what I'm going to do, so that's a pretty good thing, right? Is there anybody new here for the first time? Oh, welcome. We have a welcome packet from Claire for you. We welcome everybody, whether they're on a spiritual journey or not. This is the right place for you to be with whatever you want to take away from today. So happy that you're here. So the title of our topic today is Star Stuff, which I was very intrigued with. So I just did a little research. So it's not like a test, but it's kind of a test. You know me, it's always something. So, no, I'm going to scatter this, okay? No? Oh, okay. Just kidding. I did bring my vacuum cleaner, but... Dirt? Stardust. Star stuff. Dead leaves. Stardust. Because this is on the top of those. Stardust. Okay. Look at these. I picked these last night. Stardust. I got a theme going, guys. Stardust.
Ooh, that was a funker. Stardust. Oh my God. What was it? Oh. Edible stardust.
No, they're blueberries. Anyway, I think that the idea is that we all everything comes from stardust. 93% of us are made from stardust. So I found this great little poem I'm going to read because we don't have a reader today. So this is going to take that place. We have calcium in our bones, iron in our veins, carbon in our souls, and nitrogen in our brains. 93% stardust, we are all just stars that have people names. That's by poet Nikita Gill. Okay, so next on our special Star Stuff agenda, we have a wonderful congregational song.
Yeah, this morning when they told me what it was, I first wanted to do, "We are stardust, we are," but if you listen to the rest of the words, it didn't work. But I did really like the chorus, because it said, "We are all this. We are looking for our path to reuniting with everyone and knowing who we are." But this song was one that was written a long time ago, and I thought, here's the truth. What do you want to be? You want to be that star stuff? Or do you want to be a mule? So sing with me. You have your words in your program.
Let's stand and sing.
Oh, let's stand and sing, of course. Of
If
course.
you feel like it.
Yes. Swing on a star. Swing on a star. Swing on a star. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Would you like to swing on a star, carry moonbeams home in a jar, and be better off than you are? Or would you rather be a mule? A mule is an animal with long funny ears. He kicks up at anything he hears. His back is brawny and his brain is weak. He's just plain stupid with a stubborn streak. And by the way, if you hate to go to school, you may grow up to be a mule. Or would you rather swing on a star, carry moonbeams home in a jar, and be better off than you are? Or would you rather be a pig? A pig is an animal with dirt on his face. His shoes are a terrible disgrace. He's got no manners when he eats his food. He's fat and lazy and extremely rude. If you don't care a feather or a fig, you may grow up to be a pig. Or would you rather swing on a star, carry moonbeams home in a jar, and be better off than you are? Or would you rather be a fish? A fish won't do anything but swim in a brook. He can't write his name or read a book. To fool the people is his only thought. And though he's slippery, he still gets caught. But then if that sort of life is what you wish, what? You could grow up to be a fish. And all the monkeys aren't in the zoo. Every day you meet quite a few. So you see, it's all up to you. You can be better than you are. You could be swinging on a star. Yes, you could.
Well, now that we've been sung in, we can be prayed in. I'd like to welcome Kathy Prather for this morning's invocation.
Thank you, Shannon. I think I'm going to start this where it says the real me came through human parentage. So let's start there. And if you would say this with me, I'd appreciate it. Oh, when we get to that part. So let me say a prayer in. Let's just come to center and know that we are in a beautiful place at Woodland Chapel, filled with beautiful people and beautiful souls. We know that we're here to support our spiritual path, to support our sacred journey, and we are here in support of one another in our community of sacred souls. I know that today's service goes beautifully well, that it unfolds in perfect time and perfect space. And I know each one is inspired to go forth and have a beautiful week this week. And I say, thank you, God, and so it is. And would you join with me in the affirmation, starting with the word the. The real me came through human parentage as an original, creative, wonderful being. I am also of human parentage. I am God's beloved child, and I am grateful. And so it is. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. So we have a few announcements. Remember, next week we have Jerry Braz's topic as the one and only. So if you haven't heard him, this is a wonderful opportunity for a guest speaker. And also, please join us for hospitality after this morning's service. And I got a sneak peek, and I am going down there right now. So, okay, I'll leave. It's wonderful. We have a fundraising event coming up. The dates for our rummage sale have changed, so please note on your calendar that we are now doing it August 19 and 20, and setup will be August 18, so watch for additional details. Our goal is to invite the community in and raise money for the center. So is there a time that people should come, or? Yeah, just drop off. There will be somebody here. Well, like I said, details are coming, so watch for an email. Masks, I wanted to just mention that, as you know, we are no longer required to wear face masks. However, Woodland Chapel encourages you to do so if this is what you wish. We will leave it up to your discretion, and we will respect decisions. So, next we have, yay, we have special music. From Darcy and Brent.
You know, I think it's amazing what we allow people to tell us we are. You ever think about that?
Yeah.
It's like we spend a lot of time in our lives letting people define us. Even if we really think another way, we let other people tell us who we are. Oh, you're, you know, I mean, I've had people say, oh, you're mean. Yes, I am. If you mean that I mean to get my students to really do their very best, I guess that's mean. But I don't think I'm mean. You know, it's one of those things that you have to daily look at and decide, who are you? And more than that, you have to remember, because that's what I think is the truth. Remember who you are. And so this song that I found, a friend of mine found in a Baha'i church in Chicago. She sent it to me. She said, oh, Darce, you have to have this one. And so I started a trend, and I've seen it now all over the place. But I'm going to sing it, and then I'm going to ask you to sing a part of it with me. But I'd like you to just listen and take this in for a minute. How could anyone?
And what?
How could anyone? How could anyone? How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your life has been a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. Please don't let anyone ever tell you you are anything less than beautiful. Don't let anyone ever tell you you are less than whole. How could anyone fail to notice that your life has been a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. I'd like you to take a minute and think of someone that needs to hear this today. Maybe it's a friend, maybe it's a relative, maybe it's you. This is one of the hardest things to sing, but also one of the most important things to know. All right? So we're going to sing the How Could. Everybody together, here we come. How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your life has been a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. One more time. How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone one failed to notice that your life has been a miracle. How deeply you're connected to my soul. So simple and yet so true.
Next, the star of the show, Mr. Stardust himself, Reverend Don.
Reverend Don. Thank you.
Do you want to wear my
Hold
glasses?
your applause, of course. Hold your applause. Thank you. Well, thank you, everybody. My goodness, thank you, Shannon. I know what Stardust is now. It's everything, right?
It's
Star stuff.
Yep.
Star stuff.
Edible, non-edible.
Non-edible, the whole thing. Phyllis and I picked up blueberries yesterday for an old friend, and he started munching on them right away. About a whole flat. You know what a flat of blueberries are? There's a corner of them that got gone before we left. So blueberries they're good, but you got to be careful about how many you eat, I'm told. So, okay. So good morning, and so glad that you guys could be here. You decided to come out and hang around with Sunday morning here at Woodland Chapel with we who love this place and call this our spiritual home. We do that a lot. And like Shannon said, we're assigned a topic today to look at called star stuff. We are star stuff. And in our meditation this morning, we got a little tidbit of what star stuff is all about. But you know, when Shannon read her little poem there about stardust, it reminded me of my favorite story, a humorous story about ministers. About God. You know, we have favorite stories about God, we all do. I told this story about 15 years ago, and I'm hoping that some of you forgot it. Maybe some of you weren't here 15 years ago, you know. Somebody asked me one time when I said, back when I paid 25 cents a gallon for gas, and they stopped me and said, how old are you anyhow? You know. Well, anyhow, here goes on the story. Okay, let's see if you've heard this. If you've heard it before, that's okay too. There was a modern-day scientist who was conversing with God, and he said to God very blatantly, he said, you know, God, we humans, we've learned we can transplant just about every organ. We can replace arms and legs and joints and do all types of things to keep life moving, going. It seems we're coming to a point where maybe we just don't need you anymore, God. And God, in God's quiet way, replied, well, you think so, huh? And he said, yeah, I do think so. Well, he said, let's have a look-see and see if you can make a human body. How about that? Starting from scratch to finish, of course. And the scientist said, oh, no problem. He enthusiastically reached down, grabbed a handful of dirt, and God said, whoops, no. Get your own dirt. I thought that was funny when I told it. It's okay. Okay, now, before we dismiss the importance of a handful of dirt, we should consider that astrophysicists, through recent discoveries with their scientific instruments, which include these marvelous telescopes, they're able now to map the abundance of the major elements that are found in the human body and Earth itself, and all 6 of the majors are found in star stuff, as we probably know that anyhow. But this star stuff is right at the center of our galaxy. The 6 most common elements of life, you know what they are? I'm going to tell you. For the human body, it's carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, and sulfur and phosphorus. I know you got that. And these elements have been detected in the thousands and thousands of stars in our Milky Way. Every part of what is a star. And our story, the human story, is this amazing story of serendipitous zillions of these little coincidences that have brought together life out in our particular life forms as we know it today. And stardust holds a major role. We've kind of guessed that by now. And our story is found throughout mankind's collections of stories. You know, man likes to tell stories. Humans like to tell stories about all kinds of things. We have this mystical, amazing process of divine intelligence at work that we like to talk about. And we like to talk about the story of life on this planet. And we like to talk about stories in the Bible. So right here in the Bible, in all three of these connected faiths of Abraham's family, Islam, Christianity, and the Hebrew, they are found these creation stories that are speaking about our mankind being formed of the dust of the ground and God breathing life into mankind's nostrils, that breath of life, a form made of the ancient dust of a planet, made of the stuff of ancient stars, making us out of star stuff. Like Shannon said, we have calcium in our bones, we got iron in our veins, we got carbon in our souls and nitrogen in our brains, and 93% stardust. We're all just stars that have people names. Hi, Carmen. Hi, Donna. Hi, Cher. Everybody who has a name made of stardust. Now, for centuries, modern science has been shrinking the gap between humans and the rest of the universe. We call it shrinking the gap in a scientific terminology. Most of our discoveries have been somewhat mind-blowing, especially the pictures that come from these marvelous telescopes, but also kind of minuscule in the greater cosmic picture. Now, for an example, some have compared these efforts to an exploration of a beach and focusing on just a grain of sand, one grain of sand. It's all we see at a time. That camera is focusing, and it's like a grain of sand. But we have to admit, humans have a determined and capable species. We are just amazingly dedicated to exploration, just focusing on the inventions of the telescope technology, starting with the good old dependable adaptive Hubble telescopes that have been around for years. The results have turned out to be really rewarding. And one is called the Gaia telescope, that was designed especially to explore the Milky Way, pick out certain parts and find out what's going on in the corners of the Milky Way. This one's a movable telescope that really gets around. And the photographs, those first photographs, have you seen them from the James Webb explorations are being revealed? You just knock your eyes out. We have more amazement in store for us as we continue searching for these answers to our questions, not about just the universe, but about ourselves. About ourselves, our place, our beginnings, and our future possibilities. So I think it's notably important that with the early invention, of the Hubble telescope, scientists who were studying the properties of light in space, it was back in the 1920s. They noticed this phenomenon back there. It was called red shift. And I know your eyes are glazing over now, but it was set up where this told us that things were getting further away that they spotted earlier. It was just becoming less and less. And stars turned red through those kinds of telescopes. And from that, the Big Bang theory was developed. But what this did, this was proving that the universe is moving on. It's expanding, all directions. Now, religious philosophers jumped on this right away. Consistent in the stories of Genesis and so on, we claim that this universe then was proven to be originated. It was created. There was a beginning in the cosmos, a starting point of creation. And the science was getting closer to confining or confirming that belief that religion had. And that was in the middle 30s or late 30s. But with these newest astronomically gifted telescopic instruments, I'm trying to find the right words, and sometimes it's hard. I remember when I was a boy, I lived in Idaho. We go fishing. We go up into the mountains on Ketchum, the Big Wood River it was called, and my dad allowed my brother and I to sleep out from the tent on the ground, and we could see, look up, and I remember the first time I saw the Milky Way. Oh my gosh. People have gushed about that forever, but it is something to gush about. When you see it without the lights that might be interfering and whatnot, it's just the mountains and the sky opening up and the Milky Way. Just like I can't describe it, but anyhow, with these astronomically gifted telescopes that we're using now, we're getting some of this. We're getting the fascination of what's going on with this. We can define and refine our concepts of getting God right. This is what we're doing too. And speaking of getting the concept of God right, you all know who Thomas Aquinas is? Thomas Aquinas was that immensely influential Dominican priest from long ago, a philosopher, way back in the early part centuries. He said this, and he still holds, I think, credence today. He said, a mistake in our understanding of creation will unquestionably cause a mistake in our understanding God. Yeah, that's a big defining statement is what it is. Now, some of you might know who Judy Canato is. She wrote a book called Radical Amazement, and she asks us to really consider that statement and just imagine what this all means for us who live in this age. This is an age in which these scientific discoveries about star stuff have taken us far beyond the truths that we held back when we were kids, like in our youth, so to speak. Our understanding of the universe has undergone a revolution in just a lifetime. And if what Thomas Aquinas says is true, now think about that. A mistake in our understanding of creation will necessarily cause a mistake in our understanding of God. Then it's our responsibility to accept the challenge to rethink and reshape our relationship to the divine in a way that resonates and lines up with the new discoveries about creation. You know, early on, the founder of Newtonian physics, Isaac Newton, he showed us, starting out with this stuff, that one set of laws called gravity applies to equally falling apples and orbiting moons outside of the Earth's influence. And much later, who was it that it was Kathy talked about Carl Sagan? He would intone these poetic words. I remember that show, Kathy. We are made of stardust. Our bodies are literally forged in the nuclear furnaces of other stars. That's amazing to just think about what that's all about. You know who Gregory Matloff is? I love Gregory Matloff. He's a veteran physicist at the New York City College of Technology. He's famous in these sciences. He published a paper that rocked the scientific world when he did. In it, he stated, and then he argued, that humans may be like the rest of the universe in substance, the elements, of course, but also, he said, in spirit. Humans are like the universe, and he used that word, spirit, a scientist using the word spirit. Okay. He went on to explain that there's probably a proto-consciousness field that extends through all space. What's it called now? Dark energy? Something like that. But he brought this out to be calling it a proto-consciousness field, extends through all space, and that even the energy that makes up stars may define them as thinking entities that can deliberately control their paths. Putting it more shockingly blunt, he said, the entire cosmos is probably self-aware. Wow. I like that, but I don't know what to do with that. I don't think I understand that. A cosmos that is self-aware can't be spoken of without touching on that great mystery that scientists are calling dark energy and dark matter. Some call it God energy and God matter, but who knows? I'm not an astronomical scientist, But I too want to say that I stand here and tell you that I believe I'm a religious scientist and more. And one of the most amazing discoveries, I think, is of the 20th century that the universe is expanding, is growing, and it's picking up speed. All that is just like, that's hard, that's mind-boggling when you think about it. Albert Einstein was very comfortable, with this old universal story of a static, contained universe set in place. He even fudged his theory of relativity. Did you know that? He fudged his theory of relativity to support the Newtonian theory of a static universe, but he was called on it. He was called on it. I forget the name of the three people that got together as a trinity of reason for him. He was called on, he admitted his mistake, he readjusted his theory back to as it originally was, and his theory proved and implied that there was an expanding and moving universe. He agreed with it from that point on. Now, the term used to describe the force that causes the universe to expand has been named dark energy. You see, dark energy is different than dark matter. Dark energy is anti-gravitational, is the word, I guess, anti-gravitational. And it just permeates everything. It's all over. What did this old guy back here call it? It's that photo whatever. It permeates the whole universe. It's in the whole everything. So this anti-gravitational force can't be seen. It's never been seen, but it can't be seen with gamma ray, just can't be seen. But its presence is inferred and seen from the effects that it's producing. It's got to be there because it's producing these effects. Dark energy doesn't seem to change in any way, but it remains constant throughout space and time. It's like a forever energy of mystery, God energy. We see God at work in the effects. But you ever seen God's mind? Forever energy of mystery. Now, dark matter, on the other hand, can't be seen either, but it's known through the gravitational pull that it exerts. I found out something I didn't know forever. Why are planets round? Yeah, gravity. Gravity from the core, the center, is equal out around like a bicycle spokes and begins to shape. The matter, atoms, protons, everything begins to shape then. And this is where dark matter comes in through its gravitational pull to put together galaxies. My gosh, galaxies. Those who study the galaxies begin to notice that something interesting about galaxy rotations. They find that some galaxies rotate at a speed of 60,000 miles a second. A galaxy, our Milky Way galaxy, whatever, 60,000 miles a second in a rotation, moving per second now. What would the obvious question be? What keeps them from flinging apart? Yeah. Well, the answer, dark matter. Dark matter, the gravitational pull of dark matter is so dense and contributes to that gravitational field of galaxies and clusters of galaxies. And dark energy, then, on the other hand, is found in the farthest reaches in its forever and forever movement. 25%, they figure, of the universe is dark matter. The rest is dark energy. Wow. The rest is dark energy. But we say it's all God. So I think we got the answer real simple. We don't have to go into all the details and take telescopes, but it's fun to do it in the details. And the attempt to understand, dark energy and dark matter always seems to come down to one thing: balance. The universe does not contain unbalance. There's nothing unbalanced. Again, the God mind, as some may call it, is unfathomable, can't see, but it can be experienced still. And mystery, things that are called mystery, may mean unknown, but mystery does not mean unbalanced. It's just waiting for us to experience. We want to think on that. The universe is acting more like a great thinking mind than a mere cosmic machine. In fact, supposedly Einstein said this. He proposed that the human minds are just tiny components of a much greater cosmic brain. My goodness. Now, does that sound familiar to some of us around here? Religious science, one mind. When I pray, I start right out. There's a light that fills the universe. It shines out from the infinitely, creating one mind of the one God, the one source. Yeah. And saying we, I mean our solar system, we live in a band of stars like nothing other. No, the Milky Way spiral galaxy is really a special galaxy. The Hubble telescopes of the 90s, as they started on their advanced use of this telescope to bring more images in for more important discoveries, they really began that in-depth exploration of the Milky Way galaxy. And it was joined by an amazing, oh my gosh, it's called the Gaia. If you've ever heard of the Gaia scope, it's the one that can travel. It was seeking out the corners of the galaxy, really exploring the galaxy. It's really doing. We saw this on a TV program. That's how come I got interested into it. And it was joined by these scopes. Getting up close and personal is what was designed to do. And the word is now spoken in astrophysics about the 13.6 billion. You notice how they do this? 14.2, 16.9. Now it's 13.6 billion years. My wife was always saying, how did they know that? How did they know that? I just trust that they know that. Before the Milky Way was formed, the Big Bang event, and always pushing the frontier of wonderings, science wonderings, is that God matter, the mystery matter, the dark matter, in which the first stars are born. Yes, you see, dark matter aligns the mix of gaseous elements which cause the first stars to ignite. Stars actually ignite. The light comes on in the universe, and among them then comes these whirling disks, these gaseous gatherings, galaxies, becoming galaxies in their forming state, ready for formulation through this dark matter, powered by dark energy. Last week, we were watching, Phyllis and I just turned on the TV. We can't get the programs anymore. We don't know what's on because the paper doesn't list them anymore, so we just surf. We just turn on OPB, leave it there. Oh, we came on to Nova, and we discovered this about the images and discoveries and discussions on the exploration strictly of the Milky Way. So, this sounds good. So we listened to it, and boy, these scientists were being interviewed. They were in awe and enthusiastic. And that very same week is why I got my interest, is I saw this image in a brief article in our local newspaper. It displayed the first image from this $10 billion James Webb telescope. If you know anything about hearing about that, James Webb. Out there in space, they locked it in out there 1 million miles from Earth to kick on. And it revealed an amazing picture of a dying star. And listen to this now. The administrator, Bill Nelson was his name, he was rhapsodizing over what was being seen as images of light portraying that dying star that had been traveling through space for thousands of light years at the speed of light, 186,000 miles a second, whipping through 186,000 miles a second to finally be picked up by Earthlings on a telescope parked strategically 1 million miles out there. And to tickle our imaginations, just think about this now. Just how far do you measure a light year? A light year is 5.8 trillion miles. Trillion miles away. That image is in all probability. Here's the facts of that image. It's in all probability of this dying star event that no longer exists, except within the light images that are still moving, just now arriving within our vision from that scope that caught it 1 million miles out from Earth with the help of this amazing instrument, the James Webb. Now, we're told that we're now able to go to the edge of the time and see the beginning of our universe and see the lights of creation coming on. That's got my attention. That's got my attention. I'm interested in that. I'll drink to that. Hallelujah. Now, I want to start wrapping up here. It's important that we remember that all things are subject to change, however. Form does not stay form forever. There's something else about the forever part. Our solar system came about as a result of a supernova explosion, the death of a giant primal star. Eventually, all stars will burn out. After all, they are flaming gaseous spheres that are formed by collisions of hydrogen and helium, and the supernova star, when it burns out, decimates. It's so hot that it just explodes, and it flings its star stuff out into space, where most stars just burn down red hot. They become red stars, or dwarf stars, they call them. But there are a few that become supernova. And our story begins with supernova. Scientists believe that there's not been very many supernovas. If we look at what the latest findings tell us from the space puzzle the scientists are trying to put together, when we watched this program last week, the different speakers excitedly spoke about something else here that's a kick in the pants. They say they've now discovered, with these new probes, the discovery of a dwarf galaxy about 6 billion years ago that began punching its way through our huge Milky Way galaxy like an intruder. It brought fresh coal gas with it, and much of it, mostly the hydrogen, which is prevalent in the universe. But this is the perfect activity that sets up a stellar star nursery where stars light up. This turns them on. This ignites them. And so it seems that here we go again, 4.6 billion years ago, after the smaller traveling galaxy wove its way through our Milky Way galaxy, through the great one arm of it, many scientists believe now it's proof that activity, our sun, came into ignition. Kapow! And it was as if an intruder burst its way into the arm of the Milky Way, and the precise timing when our star ignited. Remember that way back where the guy says, stars think, stars guide their own paths. They're part of a thinking universe. Here it says, they're saying that for some reason, it's as if our star, when it was ignited, began to tug its way into finding its own orbit. Yeah, a mind of its own, my God, and its own orbit to be a power source, turned to be a power source for us. And therefore, those parts of the early mother supernova furnished all the materials and elements that became the unique planet that we have and the rest of the planets in our solar system. And our story began. And if miracles were in store for us, we, Earth, nestled. We found our planet Earth nested into that sweet spot orbit. Yeah, the sweet spot orbit. It's called that by science, the sweet spot orbit. That perfect timing orbit where everything was perfectly in alignment for evolving into life as we know it right now. My wife, me, you. My wife is having a nice little nap. Thank you, sweetheart. Will you buy lunch today? Great. Okay, so I know this makes a person's it makes us sometimes think, how do they keep track of all this? Well, I just trust that they are keeping track because they're interested in it, and they are moving right along with all of this. The perfect distance between sun and earth for warmth and water to bring us and nurture and life, and we just can't underestimate the significance in the way we start telling our story about all this, the way I'm telling you, for an example, of the cosmos and of human life that's rooted in the practice of sharing the rich variety of our lives. We do that. We tell these stories. We love to tell about our hopes and our fears and what's going on. We have this great understanding that can carry us really far forward in our human journey. and extend our view over and above the being a solitary, wonderful being and get into what Reverend Moore talked about last week and create community, create society. Sitting right here is what we call a family, but we are a community also. We call you our spiritual family. You are, as ministers, we say, you are our beloveds, and we mean that. But our story now must hold the we and us as oneness in an inclusion that religion and religious teachings have to embrace these truths of science to ground us in our beingness as human beings who have responsibility and stewardship of a planet. Our planet is the reason why we're here and not living on Mars in some other form. Yeah, you know that. We are the life forms that have a consciousness of knowing. Yeah, we can acknowledge where we came from and know that we know. We are ever awakening, ever evolving, becoming. We're star stuff. Bingo. I guess that's the name of the message this morning. Bingo. We're star stuff. And you know, I'm going to close today. In fact, I'd like to ask Shannon to come back up and help me with that. I think you got the paper that I gave you last week. Okay, let's do some real closing. I want to take a drink of water. I'll take my guitar and put it in tune. I hope it's in tune. And I have to prop myself up here so that I can actually not fall over while I'm playing, okay? Are we crackling up there because I'm touching something?
No, I was cracking.
Oh, okay.
Professor.
This thing that we're going to do is something that's found in the book called Prayers for 1,000 Years. It's called O Sacred Source. O sacred source, the one of no names and all names, my journey back to you is the source of my unity with all others. And I give thanks.
I weave my gratitude into the memory of these moments which have shaped my inner and outer being. I give thanks for the present moment and for the story by which my eyes can see and my ears can hear what you have revealed in the shaping of the universe.
And I give you thanks for the story by which I know the 15 billion years of my unfolding. I give you thanks for the enormous contribution of those who lived before me.
I give thanks for the thousands of years during which humans crafted their images of you in the image of the feminine and the earth.
And I'm thankful for your loosening our tongues, that we might utter words about your eternal word. I give thanks for the ice ages which shaped the lands, the mountains, and rivers that have in turn shaped our imagination.
And thank you for all of the mammals who have taught us to birth and succor our young, and for the coming of the flowering plants that channel their energy into the seeds by which the future is endowed.
And I am so pleased with gratitude for the birds who brought song and melody to earth.
I am thankful for the great green plants and their interdependence with insects, and for all of the teeming life within the oceans which fashioned the sensing organs of earth.
And I'm humbly grateful for the first life forms that learn to take nourishment from the sun, our mother star, and lay down a pattern of giving themselves away to others and receiving life from others.
My heart beats with gratefulness for the supernova event by which our mother star collapsed and created the stardust out of which this solar system was formed, and for stars and galaxies in which is incarnated all the dreams, the visions, and energies by which you have shaped this present moment.
And for that first moment, that utter act of giving by which you brought forth this single body, my body of the universe, and out of which I weave the web of my own existence. And for the dark, impenetrable, pregnant, awesome mystery that you are, and out of which you call my name. And so it is.
So it is.
Amen. Can you sing with me? Amen. 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 One more time now. Amen. 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 Amen.
Amen.
And so it is. Thank you. Thank you, Shannon.
Thank you. And Darcy and Brent. I was just going to say that, but I know you can. That's the.
What I was thinking is sometimes for me, is this mic on? Sorry. You're asking me.
There you go.
There it is. Okay. Sometimes when I listen to that, I think, whoa. I become like 5. Wow. Because the thing I most get out of that is, if all of that is true, then how can I not recognize my place within this, the beauty of all of this? What a waste of time to think, oh, I'm not good enough, or I'm not okay, or I'm not. That's them out there, something out there. Wow, are you kidding me? All of that wasn't done so that you would forget who you were. How you are connected to this. And it's as grand as everything we just heard. And as big. Billions, trillions. And yet I still see this. Go ahead, Brent. You with the sad eyes, don't be discouraged, don't you realize you have to have courage in a world full of people, you can't lose sight of it all. The darkness inside you make you feel so small, but I see your true colors shining through. I see your true colors, and that's why I love you. So don't be afraid to let them show your true colors, true colors. those created billions of years ago for you. Show me a smile then. Don't be unhappy. Can't remember when I last saw you laughing. If this world makes you crazy and you've taken all you can bear, call me up, 'cause you know I'll be there. And I'll see your true colors shining through. Sing with me. I'll see your true colors, 'cause that's why I love you. So don't be afraid to let them show your true colors are beautiful like a rainbow. This universe was not created for you not to be a part of it. This universe was created for the beauty of you to exemplify and to show. When this world makes you crazy and you've taken all you can bear, call me up, because you know I'll be there. I'll see your true colors shining through. I'll see your true colors. That's why I love you. So don't be afraid to let them show your true colors. True colors. Say it again. True colors. True colors are beautiful like a rainbow.
Isn't that nice? True color. Shining through. Thank you, Darcy. Thank you. Oh my goodness. This is our special time right now. We like to look around the world and say, you know, I can support that. I can support that. You look around this room here now today, I know your hearts tell you, I can support that. I can support that. I can stand behind that. So this is our opportunity now to show that we are truly more than just a spiritual family. We're a spiritual rainbow. We're a spiritual, whatever you want to call it. It is spiritual. And I ask you all just to be a universe today, will you? Just say yes. Yes. These are going to be passed around, and just put your heart in there. Put your heart in there. I know that it'll come the way it should. I'm going to ask someone to help do this. Is there anyone who would like to volunteer besides the regular people who do this? We have people who are assigned to do it.
Michelle?
Michelle, put her hand up. Michelle, would you come forward? And I know the star of the show today. Doesn't mind.
Should have brought my glasses on, my sunglasses.
Put your sunglasses on, right there. Right there. Oh, that's not good. We can't recognize you. We know who you are. You're like dark energy. There you go. In your program, there is a prayer, not a prayer, it's a statement, it's an affirmation. And let's say it, shall we? Read it and let's say it together. I know God to me and multiplies all that I have, all that I have, and all that I circulate. I know. Thank you. Let's sing some more too.
Free.
stars, billions and billions of galaxies, here we are. We are so fortunate. We are so blessed to be aware, to be conscious, and to be aware of the universe and its implications for life and life continuing. Thank Reverend Don today for a beautiful talk, for Shannon and her part, and all who have participated. And let's just give from this thanks into the heart of this community so we may support that wonderful work of bringing this science of spirit into reality here at Woodland Chapel. So join me, if you will, as we bless these gifts and say together, and so it is.
So we do like to say our prayer of protection. And it's on the program also, in case you haven't got it memorized by now. We can start out by saying, the light
Light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
Why don't you stand and sing a closing song, Let There Be Peace on Earth, in every part of you. Walk in the light of the stardust that you're made of.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. I never know what he's gonna play. I've given up trying to control it.
Hello, Mama. How you doing? Yeah, we did it.
Hey,
Got it. Got it. Moving.
thank you.
Got it.